Hello, welcome back. I'm Clark Glassford. This is my practice interview, and this is this week's video, which is all about how to accelerate your application process. I've got some great tips that are well within your control of how you accelerate your application process to get to the interview so that you can get hired. And let's talk about those tips coming right up. Let's go. So we're talking about the length of time it takes from application to hire. You're not going to want to hear this, but 5 months. That's right. 5 months is the average length of time it takes someone to start with their application, get it into a process, and get hired. And I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, that is way too long. Or you're experiencing that now. You've been getting resumes out, you've been applying, you've been going to interviews, but you're not landing that job. I am here to tell you that there are certain things that are out of your control when it comes to job application processes and recruitment processes. Things like the company, right? The company itself, they may have their own internal processes. They may have other competing pressures on them. They're not getting to recruiting for their vacant position in time. There could be things like a low demand for a particular position that you're applying for, and it's harder. There's lots of applicants. You're one of many applicants, and it's hard for companies and recruiters to sort through all those applications. There are things like that. Those are out of your control, but there are many things in your control. And what I want to do is I want to explain those few key things that you can do to really accelerate your application process, making sure that you're getting your resume in the right hands, making sure that your resume is speaking for you so you can get into that interview process, and then rocking the interview. So what are those things that you have control over? First thing first, your resume. Your resume is key. And I'm gonna link some videos below that are gonna talk about your resume, how you structure a resume, the key things you need on a resume to build an awesome resume. But there are two key things you need to have on that resume to capture a hiring manager's interest. One is your accomplishments. Two is the results of those accomplishments. So something like this, if you increased production based on some efficiencies that you noticed, what was the result of that? So I made some changes to the production line. I increased productivity by 50%. That resulted in a $20,000 increase in sale. Those are achievements, those are results. They need to be on your resume. Your resume cannot be a regurgitation of your job description. So those are results. They need to be on your resume along with those achievements. In the description, you're going to see some links as to how you go about doing this. Now, resume writing is not for everyone. If you are struggling with your resume, if you are unhappy with your resume, if you need somebody just to have a look at your resume and tell you what you need to do to get it to that next level so you are competitive in the recruitment process, talk to me. In the links below is my contact information. Reach out to me. We'll talk resumes. I've got solutions for every budget. So resume is number one. That can help you with your recruitment process. If you're not getting calls for interviews, it's probably your resume. Next thing, in order to get calls for interviews, you've got to apply. So many people I come across will put in one application and then they'll just sit and wait. Okay, this is the company I want to work for. I hope they call me. When's that phone gonna ring? When am I gonna get that email? And it just doesn't happen. You have to get out there and you have to apply. And when I say apply, you have to be checking daily. As a recruiter, especially for high positions that are hot on the job market, I am looking at applications daily. And if I see one that catches my interest, I'm not waiting until the competition closes. Until, I've said that, resumes are due by this date. I'm picking up the phone, I'm calling that applicant, I'm booking an interview. That is what I do as a recruiter. So for you as an applicant, that call can come anytime for your selection for an interview. So you need to be ready and you need to be applying daily. Look at the job boards, look at LinkedIn, look at Indeed, look at specific company job websites and apply and make it a daily ritual. It's all part of the application process. So that's tip number two. Tip number three, you've got to utilize your network. You've got to tap into people who work within those industries, within those companies that you are applying for. And some of you are like, well, I don't have a big network, Clark. I don't know anybody. Well, there's one thing that you can utilize that's out there. It's free and it networks everyone together. Something called LinkedIn. LinkedIn's amazing. If you're not on LinkedIn, you need to get on LinkedIn. Build your profile and start making connections. And some of you are thinking, I don't want to make connections with people. It makes me look desperate. It makes me look needy. People don't want to talk to me. I'm here to tell you otherwise. I have made so many connections on LinkedIn and advise clients to do the same by reaching out to them and simply saying, hey, Mr. Recruiting Manager, or hey, Mr. So-and-so who works for the company, I'm interested in applying for this job. Would you mind looking at my resume? Or could I take 5 minutes of your time just to talk about the position? I'd like to learn a little bit more to see if I'm a good fit for your organization. It's a simple reach out through direct messenger that you can have with those individuals, and you will get a call guaranteed. 2 things that this does for you, which is mind-blowing. 1, you get to connect with somebody. Now, what's the worst that's gonna happen? They're probably not gonna pick up the phone and call you. They may not direct messenger you back. Okay, no big deal. You don't know them, they don't know you, they don't direct message you back. But the second thing is, what if they do direct message you back? Then you have an audience with that hiring person or somebody who works in the company who will talk to you, maybe refer you, and hopefully get your resume in their hands so they can look at you as an applicant. Remember, if you see my other videos, and I've linked them below here, so many companies have applicant tracking systems where you apply, you go through the computer tells the recruiter which applicants to look up, blah. It's hard to maneuver your way through the process sometimes. Your job is to try and get your resume in the hands of an actual human being. This is the way you do that. So trust me on this. Take the time, make the effort, search out the companies you're applying for, search out people who work in those companies, try and make connections with those people. I'm telling you, as a recruiter, when people reach out to me, I make the time for them. I honestly make the time for them, and so many recruiters and hiring managers will. And like I said, the absolute worst that's gonna happen is you don't get a message back. Big deal, move on. You'll find someone who does. It's a great tip. It works. Trust me. The very last thing that you need to be doing through your recruitment process is your preparation. And if you've watched my videos before, it is absolutely critical that you prepare right from the get-go, and you're preparing as you go throughout the process. The last thing you want to do is be getting an interview and being told you come in tomorrow for an interview and you're not ready for it. I've just been working with 2 clients, tale of 2 stories. One who followed my process, they built their resume, they made those connections, they've been preparing all along. They came to me as an interview coach, and they spaced that out throughout their application process. They met me a couple times throughout so they could prepare through mock interviews, get ready for the interview, learn from our sessions together so that when they got that interview, they're ready, they rocked it, they got the job. Versus another client who reached out to me like a week before their interview, so still a few days, but then couldn't make themselves available until 2 days before the interview. And yes, I can help, and yes, that is part of their preparation, but they had done no preparation up until that point. So for that first interview, it was really rough for that client. They were not successful in that specific job, but they learned from that, they came back, and they got the next job opportunity that came their way. So I'm telling you, your preparation starts the moment you start applying. And I've got lots of videos on my YouTube page, and I've made some key links below of videos that I want you to look at that will start your preparation. So those are 4 key tips that will accelerate your application process. For some of you, no matter what you do, it's going to take time. Job searching does take time, but for a lot of you, those 4 tips I've just given you, they will speed things up. You'll get noticed, you'll get calls, you'll get interviews. Next thing you know, you're getting job offers, and it's awesome, and you're thanking me, and things are super fantastically great. So those are my tips for you today. I hope you've enjoyed them. In the links below, you've got my practice interview ebook, the free ebook. Download it. It's got actual sample interview templates that you can practice for preparing for your interview. Don't avoid that. Get it. The next one is my Interview Accelerator workshop, a fabulous workshop that walks you through how to prepare for your interview, hosted by me. You'll love it. And then a number of other links to all the services that I offer if you are struggling through the recruitment process and you need help at any stage, whether it's resumes, preparing for interviews, how to work LinkedIn, let's talk. I've got something for every budget and we can work together. So hope you've enjoyed the video again. And like I always say, happy interviewing.